Vanessa says, do you suggest employing a spouse? If so, do you ever get sick of each other? How do you and Amanda make it work so well? You know, it's funny, like if you work with your spouse in the business, and people say that to me all the time, like, oh my gosh, I can never work with my spouse, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, guys, you know, I mean, to each their own. But if that was a big problem, I think that would be an interesting thing to explore and figure out why, if I'm married to the person, would I not be able to work with them? Because to be honest, when you work with somebody in business, it's very similar to marriage. You know, there's problems, and you have to have a good approach to solving problems. You have to be good at negotiation. You have to be good at back and forth. You have to be good at explaining your side. You have to be good at understanding that the other person is, you know, coming at it from a good, like, a lot of those things that you're doing in marriage is the same thing in the business. So if people say, oh, I could never work with my spouse in the business, I mean, first off, to think your spouse doesn't work in your business is crazy. Like, even if your spouse has a job and you're working on your firm, they're still working in your business. They're still checking in with you every night. They're still getting updates. They're still strategizing. Probably they have some input on major financial decisions that are going to affect the company together. They have decisions on when you move. They're supporting you when you get down. They're cheering you on when you get up. I mean, this idea that the spouse isn't working in the business is crazy. Now, I think, look, if you want to work with somebody that is a spouse, I would say 100% go for it. And then as problems come up, ask yourself, okay, why is this problem coming up? And is this also a problem in the marriage? And honestly, what I think is this. I think marriage kind of works like this. It's funny, I was telling somebody this yesterday, that I think marriage kind of works like this. Most people, I think, my parents have been married and divorced 9 times, okay? I've seen a lot of things in marriages, okay? I got like 11 ex-stepbrothers and sisters. They're all over the place. There's like a whole boob troop out there of like people that I've been related to, right? But I think most people think that when you get married, it works like this. You get married, right? You get married, and then things get better. Things get better. And then people get down because that's not how it works, and they get divorced, okay? I think that's a lot of it. Like, they go in with this expectation that they're going to get married and things are going to get better. I don't really think it works that way. I think it more looks like this for people that make it work well. It looks like this. Now, they get married, right? And then over a period of time, things get good, and then they get worse than they were. So this is worse than it was before, and then this is better. The key is this, is like, you know, you constantly just want to be pinging off of these things because, and I read this in a book recently about business, and it totally makes sense in marriage. It's like, he was saying that when your business goes through hardship, whether it's economic hardship or you have a reduction in sales or a reduction in profit, it's good. Because when times get tough, it forces you to take action. So for example, you know, he was saying that when times are good, there's like, things are going so well, you don't have time to sort of fire that department that you should really fire because it's sort of like more headache to do it. But when times are tough and money's tight, you're like, cut that department, right? And so when things get bad, it forces you to take action and make changes that in the future will take you to a greater height than you previously could have achieved. And it's the same thing in business. Let's say your marriage is at a certain point, and then you start working together, and it gets worse in the short run. As long as you guys use that as an opportunity to say, hey, why is this getting worse? And did something in our original relationship also kind of not work and we never addressed that? And now that's showing up in the business. And how do we address that in this business to also address it in our marriage and become more intimate, right? Have more, have a better relationship. And you'll do that for a while, and then it'll dip again, and it kind of goes like this. But if you use all the peaks as opportunities to gain more intimacy and more respect for each other and become closer, I think over time it can trend upward. So that's kind of my best understanding of it as it stands today. I mean, I've got a lot of life to live, a lot of marriage to do, so I'm sure I'll think about other things. But I think if you are worried about getting into business because you're worried it's going to be bad, I would say that means you got to do it even more. I mean, because the more time you spend together, the quicker you're going to get through these things and the further down this line you're going to get. If you're only spending, let's say, 5 hours a week together versus 40 hours a week, it's going to accelerate this path. So yeah, that's kind of how I see it and how we work on it. So when a problem comes up, I don't think, oh, I shouldn't be working with my spouse, or, oh, should I get a divorce? I think, what is the nature of these problems? Why are they affecting me? Have they been around for a while? Are these also reflecting in our personal life? What would it look like to address these problems and become more intimate than we ever were before? that is the sort of way that I look at it. So I would say go for it. I find it to be great. I mean, I spend out of 365 days in a year, probably spend 360 days a year with Amanda, right? There's only a couple of days here and there. And when she leaves, I'm like, wait a minute, you're going where? She's going to Atlanta for her sister's birthday thing or something. They're going to Six Flags. I'm like, what am I going to do? I got 3 days, you know? No, I'll be fine. But, you know, we hardly spend any time apart. I think it's great. Sylvie says, sounds to me like Andrew loves his wife a lot. 360 days together. Oh, a real love story. I do. I love Amanda. Who couldn't love Amanda? Everybody knows Amanda's better than me. I mean, anybody that's ever met Amanda is like, you know, one person lucked out, and it ain't Amanda.